Welcome to Business Amplified with host Kevin A. Dunlap.
This podcast is for small business owners aiming to amplify their enterprises.
Explore strategies to play a bigger game by becoming an author, public speaker, podcast host, or expanding your brand in other ways.
Elevate your business on Business Amplified.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to Business Amplified. My name is Kevin Dunlap, and I am your host today. And today, we're actually going to be going over to Milwaukee. We have a gentleman there that I've just been having a great pre-interview conversation with. He's a marketing genius. His name is Chris. I believe how you pronounce his last name is Troka. Anyway, if it's not, he'll correct me. So, Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, Kevin, thanks for having me. And you nailed my last name, man. Troka, that is perfect.
Okay, well, is it Troka? It's like, what is it? Troka, Truka? That it could be a little weird.
Yeah, people like to throw a couple extra vowels in there. It's either Tronka or Troika, or I'm like, nope, just keep the Troka.
Well, Chris, welcome to the show. Now, as I already mentioned, that you are a marketing genius. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about who you are, what is it that you do, and why is it that you do it?
Absolutely. And thank you, Kevin. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. The marketing genius. I never thought of it like that, but I appreciate it. 10 years ago, I started a wedding DJ business that I eventually grew and scaled into a multiple team of DJs. Today, we're an award-winning wedding DJ company serving Southeastern Wisconsin for couples on their special day. I ended up loving marketing and sales so much that I went back to earn my degree in marketing. And about 4 years ago, I started my own marketing agency where I've been helping other business owners start, grow, or scale their own business with marketing, SEO, websites, the entire gamut of digital marketing.
Oh, wow. And so, at what stage are the businesses that you're normally working with? And then I would assume with your DJ business, obviously that has to be local because not many people do a Zoom DJ. So I'm assuming that's going to be local. But with your marketing, obviously you can be outside of Wisconsin. You could be outside of the Milwaukee. You could even be outside the United States if you wanted to.
Absolutely. And that was kind of my hope transitioning from the wedding DJ company, which is very specific. You have to be local and remain here. And I thought, what about the future? What do I want that to look like? And I did want to have some more freedom to travel, some time freedom. So I wanted something that could be done virtually via Zoom. Digital marketing can all be done online without having to be, having a physical presence anywhere. So that was kind of the start of that. And it's been incredible working with businesses of all types. Typically, it's the small to medium-sized businesses, and they're either just starting out, either just purchased a book of business from somewhere, or they've been in business for a couple of years and are just kind of struggling to get things to click and get things to work. So we worked with businesses of different calibers. We have some that are 6 figures a year. We have some that are 7 figures a year. But it's, the foundational principles of marketing kind of apply to most businesses. And then we custom tailor our solutions based on what their needs are. Are they a retail location? Who do they serve? What channels are these people on, the target market that we try to reach? So it's a fun mix of variety to work with different types of businesses. And just now we're starting to niche down into more healthcare, nonprofit, dentist style clientele, but we're open to everybody.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously there's a big difference between somebody doing something online versus somebody who, like you said, a dentist, because a dentist can't work online. They are a physical brick and mortar type business. So obviously the marketing is a lot different. What do you say are probably some of the biggest, and we'll go with brick and mortar first. What are some of the biggest challenges that you see that they are going through when they say, hey, Chris, we need help. So, what are their biggest issues?
Of course. So the main issue for most brick and mortar retail locations is that they do have a physical location. So they're bound by the area that they serve, but also that they have typically higher costs and expenses because they're renting a space. They have to pay for the electricity, the water, the internet. So they need people to find where they are. So we generally tell them we need to get you found and get in front of the right people. So getting found is all about optimizing your search engine optimization. That's about your Google business profile. It's making sure you're listed on all the relevant directory listings. And these all help build this natural link profile that help boost your business online, not only the trust, but the credibility and just visibility as well. So we want to be ranking for specific keywords that are important to your business. Some of the results we had for the dentist was originally she only had one keyword on page 1 of Google, which was her own business name. She purchased a business and wanted to rebrand, so we helped with that entire rebranding. From there, we were able to get 4 keywords on page 1 of Google for some very important pieces that people are looking for. When people are searching online, they're looking for solutions to their problems. And then once they find one, they're going to research about you. Does this seem like they can solve my problem? Do I like the person that I'm about to work with? And how easy is it to get to that next step? Do I call, fill out a form? What is that next step? And you want to make it clear to the customer or someone who's visiting your website. So that's kind of the premise and the foundational strategy behind retail locations.
Okay, so as somebody's trying to rank on Google for those keywords, and I'm glad you said the Google Business Profile, because if you say Google My Business, I'm gonna I think you're a little outdated here, because I see too many people say that they don't realize that Google My Business is no longer there. It's not Google Business Profile. So I even see that I recently in social media, we'll increase your Google My Business page. Like, oh my gosh, you are so outdated. But anyway,
No kidding.
I digress. So, what are some of the ways that somebody could start trying to increase their brand awareness using keywords? Is it like doing blogs? Is it like social media exposure? What are some of the best ways? Without giving away giving away the entire car of great information that you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to keep the very specific industry secrets, under lock and key here, but I'm happy to share the knowledge because many entrepreneurs and business owners before me were willing to share their knowledge with me, which helped me level up my business. So I'm happy to share the knowledge with them. As far as SEO strategy, you're absolutely right. It's the blogs, it's the keywords, it's the social media. What's really cool is that within this realm of SEO, there's so many different subsets and branches that come off of SEO, because there's a lot of different strategies behind that. But what we find is that trying to do a little bit of everything just serves the entire initiative and goal as one. So let's say we're doing some blogging. This isn't just about putting some blogs about like, here's how my day was. The blog should really actually provide value and educational, informational, and entertainment content to potential buyers. So this could help strengthen the trust and credibility with people who are visiting your site. This can also start to rank within YouTube search, Google, Bing, Yahoo, when you have more pieces of content. So that's, the blog, that could be video, whatever platform it might be hosted on. The social media plays a role too. Google, obviously, when they're, ranking businesses, websites, pages for search results, what they're trying to achieve is they want to find the best search intent. They want to solve the problem. So what they try to do is rank that based on the trust, the credibility, the link profile, how well does it match the search intent. And all of that plays a role into the SEO strategy that we try to implement. But I love the idea of just putting the value-driven content out there via blogs, social media. It all kind of plays a role. Once you have one piece of content on a topic, it can be chopped up into many pieces of content. For example, this video podcast that we're doing here, it's going to go out to 13 audio platforms. It's going to have a specific website page. It's going to have the video content. And then that video content, we can take snippets where we say something really insightful or smart and put that on TikTok. And now that becomes a short form content for Facebook, for Reels. And now it's just this one piece of content can go out to many different areas, which is a part of the SEO strategy that we try to implement.
And I can attest to what Chris is saying. For those of you that have been a fan of our show, you probably heard me talk about this before. But there's something that I learned back in 2009. I'm not going to say what the year this show is being recorded, but that was a while ago. And in 2009, I went to a real estate conference. I was living in Las Vegas at the time. I was running a lease option real estate business. So I was helping owners of property find a lease option tenant buyer to rent their homes. And that was my very niche business. I wasn't a realtor at that point. I didn't get my realtor's license until 2012. But I went to this real estate conference in San Diego, I think it may have been, and they were giving away two door prizes. There was maybe 500 people in the audience. And I won the second door prize. And this door prize is all about SEO and marketing. I will tell you this right now. That's why I'm going down this tangent. Is the item that I won for and Chris is probably going to be shocked about this because I haven't told him about this yet. The item that I won was like a $300 gift. Now you could buy it for $20, but at that point this was revolutionary, and it was a flip camcorder. That was at that time. That's before cell phones had or smartphones. So this was a camcorder that could record 60 minutes of content. Doesn't matter if it was 10 minutes or 1 hour or variation thereof, but you could record 60 minutes of content. So at that time, I started shooting video of all of my lease option homes. I stand in front of the camera and says, "Hello, this is Kevin Dunlap with Trident Investments Group. Today we're at 123 Main Street, blah, blah, blah." I would introduce the house. And then the third part of the video, it would be, "Hey, thank you for taking a look at 123 Main Street. To get hold of me, or find out more about any of my lease option homes, just come and I'll go through my what I call my tail slate." And then the middle piece would be a narrated tour of the house. And I started posting those on YouTube. Those YouTube had links to my website. After I shot 20 of those, 30 of those, 100 of those, 250 of those, 500 of those, my ranking for specific keywords like lease option real estate or lease option Las Vegas, I was on page 1 of Google at least 5 times.
Yes, that's what we love to see.
So I could attest to, you have to get your face out there. That's one of the reasons I created this podcast, is that you have to do something different to gain more exposure in order for more people to find out who you are. Now, I'm sure Chris is going to agree with this. He's already shaking his head, and I didn't even tell him what it is yet. Is that when I had those YouTube videos, the YouTube had backlinks to my website. My website had the embedded code from YouTube. So I had basically what you call a circular link. So I was linking YouTube, and I was linking back to myself. I had a marketing page that just a basic list of all of my homes, and each house that I had was its own flyer. So Chris, let me ask you this. I already know that I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask you this because I want the audience to be able to hear and or watch what's going on. When I have a website that's constantly changing, it's constantly being updated on multiple times per week, how does that affect your Google ranking?
Google likes to see small changes and updates to your websites because they feel that you're updating more relevant information, and the more content that you're adding, they feel, "Oh, wow, this is someone who's active in the community. They're releasing new stuff. This is going to be relevant, this week, next week, and the week after." I think it all helps. What do you think?
I think it absolutely does. So for the Google spider, that the Google ranking thing, they're going to absolutely love it. They see an active website. If I just created a 3-page website and I had no updates, after 6 months, after 12 months, after 18 months, after 2 years, and you still say copyright 2021 on the page, the Google spiders are going to say this person could be out of business. There's been no update. So you have to keep or maintain updates to your site. It doesn't matter what you do. If you have a blog on your website, you have to maintain the content. And here's the second thing, and because I mentioned this is good for the Google spiders, is it also good for the human person? If they go to your website and they see constantly you have updated new content, like in my case, there's a new house, the house is under contract, the house is gone, and I'm going through on that from the end user, the human person, how effective is that when they see a very active website?
Absolutely very effective. Even for me, when I'm researching, technology related articles or marketing articles, if something's even 6 months to a year old, I wonder if that information is even relevant, especially with the ever changing technology, especially in AI. If I see something that's 3 months old with AI, I think that's old news. Something new is coming through. So I definitely want to see updated relevant information. And I would myself even question, is this person in business? Is this information still relevant, or is this outdated? Is there anything I can learn from this? And yeah, you want something that's updated and relevant.
Right, exactly, because AI went mainstream in 2023, early to middle of 2023. I started using it in March of 2023. So if I say I've got this thing I wanted to learn about ChatGPT, and like I said, and this article came out in March 17th, 2023, like, yeah, I don't think so. That's a little old.
Yeah, technology is advancing so quickly right now, specifically within AI. And I know the marketing realm itself, there's new channels, new trends, new things that pop up that we as marketers, we need to stay on top of in order to get the best results to get out into the right audience. If we're not doing that, if we're promoting, yeah, you should take your brochure and do like some mailers. Okay, that's kind of old school. Don't get me wrong, print media, still exists and serves a purpose. However, if we're using these old channels, we're going to seem old school. And unless it's proven to be still effective, then it's not, a great strategy we want to implement. We want to do things that are newer, fresh, and, more up to date.
That's very well said, and I've said this quite a few times. Regardless of of what's going on today, I don't care if you're listening to this at the year that we recorded this, or 5 years from now, and you're listening to this for the very first time. Whatever is mainstream going on today, you need to start to embrace it. I don't care what it is. It could be AI. At the time of this recording, AI is the new a big trend. The thing is, people that are rejecting it, especially small business owners, you're hurting yourself. And I always use this as an example. Let's say if Chris has a bicycle shop and he loves selling bicycles. I mean, this is his passion. Watching the kid's face light up when he's getting his first bicycle. Maybe he's selling some helmets and elbow pads and training wheels. And he absolutely loves the joy that he sees when somebody buys a new bicycle. But this new fad just came up, and he calls it a fad. Like, nobody's going to do this. This thing called the internet, nobody's going to do this thing called the internet. Now, they have to go to the stores to buy the bikes. Nobody's going to buy something and have it shipped to them. I mean, what if the seat doesn't fit? And that person refused the internet. Where are they now? They're dead.
They probably
If
don't
you
exist
don't,
anymore, unfortunately.
probably don't exist anymore. If you're providing a service and you don't do this thing called online, like Zoom or stuff like that, where you have to speak face to face with someone, you only could talk on their telephone or meet them in person, you're going to be out of business. At the time of this recording, if you're not embracing AI, you're going to be out of business,
I think
regardless
it's
of
going to be
what's
very
going on.
difficult. It's going to be difficult for people to avoid it, even. It's being integrated into every single tool that we're using nowadays. Programs that are for podcast editing or for video editing, even copywriting. It is try with AI, integrate AI. LinkedIn now has an option for you to use it with AI if you're on a certain platform. So I think it's going to be very difficult for businesses to even avoid AI. But yes, if they don't embrace it and use that technology, it's going to work similar to when the internet first came out and then became more popular. I mean, we have 65% of people who are visual learners. So we need, marketing focus more on the video content. That's been a trend for the last 4 to 6 years. As we advance the AI, this allows us to, improve our productivity, our efficiency by using AI. And it spans many different areas. It's not just copywriting with ChatGPT. It's also creating video and photo elements that never existed in here, but you used to have to pay someone top dollar to accomplish that task. Today, you can just circle a little area and I say I want a jaguar in this, rainforest area, and then suddenly a jaguar fits in and you're okay, press a couple buttons and now, wow, this incredible image here. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult for businesses to avoid AI, but they definitely need to embrace it, just as you said, Kevin, because without it, people are going to be left behind and wondering what happened. Suddenly, no customers, clients are coming in, or they can't keep up with their competitors.
That's well said, because as a small business owner myself, I know I use AI a lot. And I mean, I'm not a marketing person, so I mean, so I don't understand always that aspect. But I mean, if I'm building a website as an example, I can go there and have AI create that teaser paragraph and have it tweak and tweak. So that's one part of my website that was just created. Maybe I write up the content and I ask AI to give it make it sound more professional. And
Mhm.
and then you can use that, you can tweak it or what have you. So I mean, I use AI all the time. This podcast, a lot of this podcast I rely on AI to help put together this show. I know I've used AI for blogging. I've used AI for coming up with enticing titles of something. Like say for example, I have no idea that at the time of this recording, Chris's show will be launched in a few weeks. However, the title of this show is going to be created by AI, and it's going to be based upon the content of the show, and it's going to do a lot better than what I could do.
No kidding. Yeah. Even for myself with years of experience creating websites and Facebook ads and copywriting in itself, it's a creative task that can be difficult to turn on and off and to get that creative juices flowing. Sometimes you need the AI just to point you in the right direction or provide you some sort of template or script to run off of. I use ChatGPT for my podcast as well. I ask it to create 3 different variations of a title and a description based on a little snippet from the episode that I put in about the entrepreneur, the business, and what we talked about. And from there, I definitely put in my own human touches because it's not always perfect. Just with any technology or tool that's out there, it does matter what the operator does as far as the output. You can get really good results from ChatGPT without input, but it can be much more refined if you are providing the right prompts to ChatGPT. But of course, what a great tool to have available to us, because otherwise we'd be sitting here thinking, on a Saturday afternoon, we're drinking coffee and we're just kind of reminiscing for about an hour on what cool title would grab the attention of users and really, highlight this entrepreneur or their story or the product that they're offering. That takes a lot of time. You wouldn't be able to keep up with 2 shows a week if you didn't have the use of AI. It would become a full-time job for you.
Well, back when I had my show, Life's Little Lessons in 2017 and 18, I did each show took me about 6 to 8 hours of post editing before and to upload it to YouTube and Podbean. And at that time, I just got under Spotify and iTunes was what it was called at that point. You had to, and those you had to apply to be part of it. So back then, we didn't have all of these other platforms out there now. Yes, at the time of this recording, I'm on 13 different podcasting sites, like Listen Notes and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and blah, 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 blah. It could go down a whole list. But the thing is, like he was talking about with the shows, like I know when I'm creating this show and I'm creating the specific page for this show, I go in there's like I'll first say I will get the transcript, put it in the chat GBT, and I'll ask it to give me 7. Usually I have to do this twice. Because anything more than like say 7.5 pages of text, that's the maximum number of characters that you could have in chat GBT. Most of my shows are 14 pages of text. So just to let you know. Now, this is not necessarily a marketing lesson, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Normally, I will go in there and I'll get the transcript because this is recorded on Fathom for the transcript. So I'll go in at the very beginning of but before we say the first word, I'll say create 7 to 10 bullet points without any headers for the show notes for this podcast between host Kevin Dunlap and guest Chris Troka. So I want to make sure that AI knows how to spell your name. So I'll spell that out. I'll get like half the show and I'll put it in ChatGPT and it will give me my 7 to 10 bullet points. Then I go to the second half and go create 5 to 7 more bullet points and to include any URLs or websites or book titles for this. It will give me those bullet points. Then I'll go in the same prompt and go, okay, now revise and using the first set of bullet points and the second set of bullet points, recreate 10 bullet points to summarize this show. So then it goes, and then using URLs. So there's my show notes. I'll then go in there and say, okay, now create me a 2-sentence summary to be used as a summary section for a podcast. So now I've got my 2 sentences. Then in the same prompt, I would then go, now revise this again to give me a meta description of 150 characters or less for the meta description for a WordPress website. Usually I have to ask it, please make it shorter. Please make it shorter. I have to have it do that. Then if I don't have somebody's bio, I'll go ahead and create me a 3-paragraph bio of the guest of Chris Troka, making sure that the last paragraph includes any URLs, book titles that was mentioned by the guest. And there it goes. Then I say, okay, now give me 10 keywords or tags that I can use in social media or on YouTube. It will give me my 10 tags. Then I go, give me 10 titles that I can use as well. And then at the titles, I usually like pick the first, because we give titles. ChatGPT loves to give you blah, 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 colon, blah, 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 blah. That's what chat does. So I will go and get like maybe to the left of the colon on number 2, and then number 6, I get to the right of the colon, and then I make sure if his name is not the last 2 characters or the last 2 words, I will revise that to make the last. There's my title. Okay, show's done. So
I love it.
that's to be a podcast.
That's brilliant. I love using technology and having this template in order to kind of direct the tool on what we want it to do. And you're absolutely right. What I love about AI is the fact that it can it has context. It can, reference previous messages to know what you want from your next query or input that you're putting to it. So again, you're starting this prompt off with all this information. Now you're asking it to create things based on its previous, text box, and it's incredible to see, what this tool can do and how you prompt it in order to get the end result that you want. ChatGPT doesn't know exactly what you want out of this until you tell it, 4 bullet points, 10 bullet points, base it on this bio within a number of characters. You really have to tell your AI what you want from it. And if it gets it wrong, be encouraging, tell it's a good chat bot and say, thanks, ChatGPT, but can you make this shorter? I always like to be nice to my AI in case the AI ever decide to rise up. I want to be, just that neutral middle ground. I don't want them to find me and be the first person that they take out.
In case AI becomes Skynet and decides to take over the world.
You never know.
For those of you that don't know who Skynet is, that's the Terminator.
I don't want my smart toaster burning my toast every morning, because that's just not cool. They would take it against me, and suddenly my Roomba is coming from across the room, like snipping at my heels. And I'm no, please. I don't want any of that. I'm being nice to my AI.
So as far as say marketing is concerned, because let's get back to that, because we went down kind of a rabbit hole here, going into the AI tunnel. About marketing, what are some of the things that a person could probably start doing, especially if they're a small business? Maybe they're what I like to call a solopreneur, or another word that I want this word to become mainstream. I call it a bipreneur. That's when 2 people are working together, because there are a lot of bipreneurs out there: husband, wife, mother, daughter, or what have you. What would you tell a solopreneur or a bipreneur or some other small business owner what they should be starting to do today in order for them to increase their marketing before they start working with you?
Absolutely. For many people out there, the business owners, solopreneurs, bipreneurs that are out there, my advice to them is something that I would share with many other business owners, whether you're B2B or B2C, and that's business to business or business to consumer. I've had the opportunity to work with both, so I kind of see the differences and similarities between them. Just know that the business to business realm, the life cycle or the buying cycle of the prospect is much longer. It can be up to 8 to 15 months when you're trying to sell a product or a service to a business. At the end of the day, we have solutions that are trying to solve problems, and we have to understand, is that client or lead, the person we want to work with, are they, one, aware of the problem? Because if they're not, you need to do some education and help them realize it's a problem. Because there's 2 different selling points. It's either, you're selling to a need or you're selling to a want. And it's funny because it's actually easier to sell to a want, because you're actually activating more of the pleasure receptors, the things that you want. They just get excited about it. And, it's that fear of missing out. They want that. Taking care of your needs. Well, people, either they're aware or not aware of the solution. So they need to figure out, okay, is this something I want to purchase? Is this really going to help me? What's the value I'm getting out of this? With all of that, as the foundation, I think people need to understand that there's nothing that's going to replace human relationships. So the more that you can build strategic partnerships and relationships within business, and this is coming from a guy with a degree in marketing who has done a ton of advertising and SEO work, building relationships are incredibly important. So you need to have your customer service game on point. You need to make sure that you're properly communicating the expectations as far as what your product or service can or can't do. So under promise and then over deliver. Kill them with kindness, give them excellent customer service. And from there, that is going to create this complete, referral-based, review-based system that should allow you to never have to reinvest more money into more digital marketing. There should be a point. I try to tell my clients that once you work with me, my end goal is to get you to a point where you don't have to call me ever again. I want to set you up with something that gets you leads on autopilot, that nurtures them automatically and creates happy customers, because that is kind of the secret. That's the pot of gold at the end. A lot of people think, oh, I just need to do more marketing. Well, work more on your customer service, the service follow through, the expectations, and that should just create this entire circular motion of lead turns into a customer, turns into a referral that becomes a promoter to you, and suddenly your business continues to grow and grow and grow without the need for traditional digital marketing.
I like what you said there. So 3 highlights that I got out of this is, number 1, you're going to promise, but you're going to over deliver. Always over deliver. I sometimes call it under promise, but you're still giving a good promise when I say under promise, but definitely over deliver. And back when I was in real estate, everything that I looked at, and I'm sure Chris is going to agree with this, is that if you're doing something like that's similar to a lot of other people that are doing something similar, like I was a real estate agent. I was in Las Vegas, 10,000 real estate agents. I mean, what makes me special is number 1 is if you're going to be building a business, number 1, you've got to definitely over deliver. I called it at that time, I called it going the extra mile. Going the extra mile that the other people are not doing. For an example, if Chris is in his office right now, and if he was, like, say, he was looking to rent a place, and I showed him this house, and he said, "Oh no, I'm really excited about this." Most real estate agents would say, "Well, here's the name of the property management company. Go ahead and fill out the application, blah blah blah. Take this to 123 Main Street, and here give them one of my business cards, and your contact information will probably be part of that rental agreement." And then you're on your merry way. Well, my thing was, okay, you want to go 123 Main Street? Well, that the property manager is like 20 minutes away. Follow me to the property manager company. And then I would go to the property manager, like, "Hey, this is my client, Chris. He's interested in 123 Main Street. I want to make sure that he's well taken care of." That was me going that extra mile.
I love that. People love
The
that
second aspect,
specialized.
yeah. Well, it was specialized as well, because I mean I was in lease option real estate, so that most of my people did that because I specialized. I was the known guy. That's why I came up as lease option Las Vegas #1 on Google 5 times. 3 of those times because of YouTube videos. The second thing that I heard you say is you got to start asking for reviews. You have to. I cannot stress that strong enough. So many people are afraid to say, "Hey, could you leave me a review?" By the way, if you like this show and you'd like to talk a bit more about me, about a business coach, you can leave a review by going to my business website, which is optimalperformanceacademy.org/review. By the way, guess what that does? That takes you to my Google business profile, where you can leave a 5-star review. It's simple as that. I have to get those reviews, because let me ask you this, and I already know Chris is going to agree with me. If you're looking, let's say you're new to a town, and he said he was in Milwaukee, but let's say he was in Dallas, Texas. Let's say him and his girlfriend, or him and his wife are visiting her parents, whatever it may be. And Chris says, "You know what? I really feel like having some Texas barbecue. Where's some good Texas? I never had Texas barbecue. I want to get some good Texas barbecue." So he Googles it. And guess what? If the restaurant that has a lot of 3-star reviews is only 1 mile away, and there's one that's 10 miles away that has a whole bunch of 5-star reviews, going off that alone, are you going to go the extra few miles?
I will absolutely go the extra mile, maybe even the extra state, in order to get some really extra good barbecue, whether that's in Texas or not. Texas is huge, so I mean, you could travel anywhere and still be in the state of Texas and find way different barbecue. But absolutely, the reviews are going to be an essential piece towards the credibility of the restaurant. And I want to hear feedback from people who have already experienced it. Now, that's not to say I wouldn't try, a place that, seems new, they're just starting. If the pictures look good, if the copy, is resonating with me, I'm someone who wants to support local and try them out. But yes, the reviews are so important. I believe there's 71% of people trust online reviews just as much they would a personal referral or recommendation. So that means the equivalent of you asking your Facebook group or your friends, who would you trust for, leasing option agreements or for real estate or for barbecue? What do you like? They would trust an online review just the same as if your mom, your sister, your close friend or colleague recommended a place to you. So they are absolutely essential. In addition, I love what you mentioned about it takes you right to the Google business profile for the review. That is essential. You can't just tell people, Google me, find my page, find the review. You're adding too much friction within that process, and you're not making it very easy for them to take that next step. I want to have the direct review link where it pops up with the shaded gray 5 stars with the little text box that's already assigned to your business. You need to make it super easy for people to leave that review. And something we need to realize is that, out of the 10 customers that you serve and they're absolutely, loving the service and everything you provide, maybe 2 or 3 are going to leave a positive review. Whereas someone who had a negative experience, they're like 10 times more likely to leave a review. So I think that stresses the importance of asking for reviews from the really, happy guests, but also to perform service recovery on the guests who were not happy with their service. Something that's really important is that people are able to edit and change their own reviews. So if you're able to contact that person, figure out what went wrong, care enough about the problem to try to create a solution from that, they're going to remember that. And they may even change the star rating or the review on what they said about you and your business. So, just try to get as many reviews as you can, perform service recovery on the old ones, and make it as easy as possible for people to actually leave that review for you. Because again, they're going to be so helpful.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So Chris, as we're about to wrap up, if somebody was to talk with you further about how they can possibly work with you, either they could be in Wisconsin or they could be somewhere else in the world. What's the best way for them to get a hold of you? This could be like your landing page, your calendar, or your website, or your social media accounts. What's the best way or best ways to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So people are welcome to connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm either Chris Troka, Troka, or Christopher Troka. You can find me there. In addition, my websites are going to be christroka.com, nice and easy. In addition, my marketing agency is called focus-biz.com, and that's where people can find out more about me. I'm sure you can just Google my name, and a lot of these podcast sessions from Kevin and everything will start showing up, and you'll find links and descriptions and show notes to find me. So that should do it.
Okay, so focus.biz or focus-biz.com.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Well, any last words? Anything that you want to share with the viewers or the listeners before we go?
Absolutely. Anyone who's struggling in their business, trying to make things work, if the things that I mentioned about marketing and customer service and, the buyer's journey resonate with you, feel free to get in touch for a free consult. I'm happy to just introduce you to some tools, maybe make you a couple free graphics to help you along your way. And just to give you some clarity on the next step or the direction that you're trying to take. My advice to all entrepreneurs out there is you're not one funnel away from your next $1 million. It's not the next book or the video that you're going to watch. It's typically the lack of action. So I want people to go ahead, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'd rather see imperfect action from all the entrepreneurs, but go out there and start doing it, because the more action you take, it's going to create more confidence. It's going to build on your persona and what you're doing in your business. And from there, you're going to start seeing results, and you'll get excited again about the business that you're running and take it to the next level. So take action, and everything else should be great from there.
And I'm going to second that by saying that the first time that you may do something, you may be bad at it, but that's okay. And I'm going to go back to when I was shooting the videos for my houses. Even on 9 years into it, I was still making mistakes. I'll be up there in front of the video. Okay, this is Kevin Dunlap with Trying Investment Group. We're at 123 Main Street. This house is located on. Oh, what was the address? What was the location? And then, okay, take 2. Okay, this is Kevin Dunlap with Trident Investments Group. Today we're at 123 Main Street. We're located on Jones and Alexander. This is, what's the square footage?
It is so
So
true.
that is okay.
Yes, people will
And
make mistakes. You're going to fumble a lot, but gosh, just do it because you're going to get so much better as you go. And again, like you said, 9 years in, still making mistakes. That's everybody, so it's not something that is just going to become like, I'm the best at this ever. Just do it. It's good enough. Good enough. Just put it out there.
well, the example that I often like to use is, have you ever heard of an actor named Robert Downey Jr.? You may remember him from Sherlock Holmes or Iron Man or something along those lines. Would you say he's probably a pretty wealthy person?
Seems like it. The
Okay. Do
appearances.
you think that any movie that he does, that there was going to be more than one take? Or does he get it
I
right, exactly right the first time, every single time?
I assume so.
He's a professional and he has to do more than one take. Why are you holding yourself above the par of somebody that's already a proven star?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Even the greatest ones, even the most successful companies or business owners or actors and actresses or, content creators out there, they stumble, they make mistakes, they mess up, and yet probably some of the highest paid people out there are still making mistakes. It's just human nature. And it's okay. We just need to get over that fear of being uncomfortable and be okay with ourselves and making mistakes and just realize I'm just like everybody else.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, because one of the creed or credos that we have at Business Amplified is you need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes, absolutely. It is so true. The things that we do, they're not supposed to be comfortable. Things that the newness, something new, something that we haven't seen before, trying something that we haven't done before, that is by definition very uncomfortable. But once you do it, you realize, what did I have to be scared of? What was I afraid of before? And then suddenly you become comfortable with that. And that can be said for any task or initiative you want to take within your business or personal life. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think that podcast guest was absolutely right.
Yeah, well, thank you. Exactly that. And the thing is, uh, I remember having a yoga class one time, and I've said this on a couple of the shows already, but I remember the instructor said something, because people were, were judging themselves, that they couldn't do Warrior One or Warrior Two, whichever they pose that they were doing. And the yoga instructor said something to me like, I've never heard this before, and to me this was like a shining, bright light moment, whatever you call that, but I don't, but she goes, guys, this is not yoga perfect, this is yoga practice.
It's so important.
So like, I could apply that anywhere in my life.
Absolutely. It is incredibly true. And yoga is incredibly difficult. Some of those positions could never do. But the first time I tried it, I was terrible. Third or fourth time, okay, I can actually hold myself up with guidance. I need a support system. Suddenly, 3 to 4 weeks in, you're like, wow, I can actually hold my own and hold this position. And that's true for anything that you want to try and accomplish. Just do it. It's not going to be perfect. Again, we're kind of practicing life. We're figuring things out as we go.
Well, and I would say sometimes, when we're talking about that, is if you're afraid that you're going to make a mistake, guess what? Deliberately make the mistake. Get it out of your system. I mean, I remember, and I know we're going long here, but I remember talking to some real estate investors, and this is, talking to a whole bunch of newbies that were just getting started, and so the newbies writing the offer, getting turned down, getting turned down, getting turned down, and then like, do you know oftentimes what is the most scariest time for a real estate investor? It's when they say yes to your offer.
What? Because now you have service fulfillment. Now you actually have to,
Now
after
you
the
have to
sale's done,
perform.
you have to go through it.
We have to find that money. You have to close on the deal now. So they said yes. Oh my God. Like, this is what you've been
Is
wanting.
it such an exciting time? But yeah, it can be scary to like, oh crap, like let's say I just sold, a marketing package and maybe I included an initiative that I wasn't familiar with, but they said yes to it. Crap, now I got to figure this out. But again, be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and suddenly you can realize you're capable of doing much more than you ever thought you were.
Absolutely. Well, for those of you that are on the show that are maybe that you are the expert, or maybe you know somebody that's an expert, we are still looking for guests to be on our show. So definitely go to our website at businessamplify.net and then go to /pre-interview. That's no dash. Again, businessamplify.net. /pre-interview. That would do a 15-minute initial consultation to see if we're going to be a good fit for each other. So go ahead and have them do that, and then who knows, maybe you'll be on the show one day. And also, if you want to be working with Chris, again, you can find him on Facebook, you can find him on LinkedIn. His name is pretty much unique, so it's going to probably be fairly easy to find him. His name is Chris, Chris. Last name is Troka, Troka, or you can also go by his more formal name, which is Christopher Troka. And you can find him online at focus-biz.com.
That's correct. Absolutely. You nailed it. Great job, Kevin.
Well, and I didn't write anything down. It's all memory.
I thought you were reading notes there. I was like, man, that is incredible. He actually remembered the bullet points here. That just shows you, Kevin, you've been doing this well enough that things are clicking, and you're a smart guy.
We'll say I do cheat a little bit. You see, this is for those of you that don't know this is a Zoom talk that we're talking to each other. In the lower left-hand corner is his name. So it's very easy to remember his name.
That's all right.
But that's a little cheat. Now, if he said the marketing genius on the bottom left, like, okay, what's his name again? But no, I can see it because it's on my screen right here. So anyway, again, Chris, I digress. Thank you for being on the show today.
Kevin, thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Thanks so much for this conversation. It was great.
I enjoyed it as well. And guys, until next time, be amazing.
Thanks for tuning in to another empowering episode of Business Amplified with Kevin A. Dunlap.
If you found value in today's insights, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast.
Keep amplifying your business. And remember, your success journey is our inspiration.
Until next time on Business Amplified, go out there and make your business thrive.